Welcome back to Sports First, ladies and gentlemen. It is Sabotage. We're back for another one Bowlers League edition of Sports First. As y'all know, the series she is tied. The series she is tied 1-1 with these Boston Celtics now having home court advantage. Obviously, them Warriors had that, but them Golden State Warriors somewhat blew that. Surprisingly, both losses have been bad for both teams. Obviously, the Celtics, the game two was much worse, but in reality, neither one was a good loss. You rather have a closer loss, obviously. Let's be Ove, ladies and gentlemen. But still, both teams have had a loss, and like I said, I expected the series to go to seven. I'll tell you seven. I'm pretty sure a lot of actually, well, I don't always listen to these ESPN guys and all that stuff, but sometimes when I get a little free time or whatever I do so. And I heard a couple of their predictions. A majority of them seem like that they're expecting it to go to 7-2. And a lot of people, as I thought they would think, it would go to 7 with Warriors winning it. And that's how it's looking. I mean, that's how everybody was expecting it to go. But during game one, everybody kind of got a little scared. I know I got a little scared. And I was like, oh man, it's looking dangerous. And then game two came around, and I wasn't really shook, but somewhat shook because I ended up doing a live and all that. I do lives on TikTok now. Sometimes I've actually been doing halftime shows, and uh, I actually didn't do a post game for this one, but sometimes I do post games as well. I try to at least when I do that, I try to like listen to the interviews and just try to get an all around outlook at the game, interviews with the players saying all that stuff, and then I do a live, so get a good amount of stuff to talk about. But Jason Tatum during the second game. This is mainly about the second game. But mainly the second game, and then do predictions on game 3-4. Jason Tatum actually, we could look at the box score. Came out balling in the beginning. Actually, it was him and oh boy JB both came out balling in the first quarter, and then after that it was they were both playing Caspa, the friendly ghost, a role which only belongs to one player, but both players decided to play that role for a little bit. Actually, well, just in the second, all around, it was a bad game by Boston. Not just I can't just put that on JB and JT, even though those are the two guys they wanted to lock up, and then they wanted the rest of the guys just not locked up, but just they didn't want anything good coming out of the rest of the guys. Is D Dub, G Dub, Grant Williams, and Derek White. Um, Marcus Smart and Robert Williams, Al Horford. They didn't want anything coming out of those guys, which they did. They kept Robert at 2, as you could see right there. They kept Al at 2, which is pretty bad. And Mark, so 6 points from 3 different starters, which is freaking crazy, ladies and gentlemen. 3-2-2-2. Oh my god, that spot. Grant Williams literally got the same amount of points as all those guys, and freaking Derek White got the same amount as everybody in that group, which is freaking crazy because Grant and Derek White are both coming off the bench. I was hearing somebody say that they should play more of that Derek White, Marcus Smart. I'm guessing you'd have to take either Al out of that lineup, or you'd have to take Robert. Robert being the more injured player. Well, he is the injured player. He's been dealing with that knee issue. I don't know if people have not realized, but he hasn't been the same ever since that knee injury. He's pretty much he wouldn't be playing right now if it wasn't for that. A good amount of these players probably wouldn't be playing during this series if it wasn't the finals and it's the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it's the finals, and they probably wouldn't even play some of those playoff series. But it's like I said, gotta take a sip of that good old coffee. Yeah, some majority of these players probably wouldn't be playing a couple of these games. Man, I remember during the beginning of the playoffs, I still thought that the Warriors had a good chance, but I thought it was kind of cut down when Steph went down like during the end of the season, and it was sounding like he probably wasn't going to be playing the majority of the playoffs game too. Right off the bat, that wasn't the case, and he came back and started doing his thing, and he's been balling ever since. Pretty much, he's probably had one or two bad games or something, but I don't remember him having too much bad games. Ooh. Um, but yeah, pretty much. They've been bad. I mean, they've been bad. The Warriors actually didn't have a really good game from Klay Thompson, but the rest of the guys came out and balled. As y'all saw that half court shot Jordan Poole made, and I think it was during halftime, or was it the second? Actually, no, I think that was the end of third. But before that, he was actually having a kind of a bad game before that. But then he started just balling everything. One thing about him is I think it was Kerr who even said it, but I said this before. Well, obviously he's the coach. He obviously would be seeing this. What I'm seeing is that he would just do too much. And then after I heard after game two, he pretty much brought that up too. I'm like, I guess I wasn't too wrong on that. Where he does do too much. At times he tries to do too much, like where he could. I don't know if he's trying to be a little bit more like Curry, because Curry does that sometimes where he. But Curry, the thing is, Curry, majority of the times he doesn't really make a mistake. He just keeps, like when he goes under the rim, if he doesn't find anything, then either tries to go for a three or makes a pass. The thing is, Poole, there's been times where he tries to go again and he just makes a bad decision and he ends up losing the ball. But during that third and the fourth, he pretty much made up for it and helped them win the game. Another player that came back on after being laid off ever since that Grizzlies series was Gary Payton II. Porter's back too, but Porter hasn't really been the same since his injury. I totally forget what his actual injury is, but he came back too, and he's been playing some good ball. But Clay was off. 4 for 19. Holy moly, ladies and gentlemen. That was terrible. As y'all see right there, 21%. That's not Clay-esque. Even though he did have a really good game during last year, he was mid Clay, I would say. These past couple of games, like he wasn't great or nothing, but he wasn't terrible. Terrible. I mean, obviously. Clay before the injury was just a great player. I mean, he still is a great player. Let's not bring him down that bad. But 1 for 8 from the three is pretty bad. Andrew Wiggins played pretty good, just all around, not just like as a offense or scoring wise and all that. 2 assists, 6 rebounds, no blocks, but still 11 points. That's pretty good. My eyes. 2 for 3 from the three, 66.7%. Kevon Looney scoring wise actually was at 100, but still it looked like they wanted to play Gary Pete a little bit more. I think it's mainly just because of the size situation and all that, and just when Robbie Williams, I mean, they just play pretty good with Gary Payton on the court. Bielitsa got himself a good amount of time too, with 10 minutes 36 seconds, but a good amount of that came after the third, where it looked like the game was pretty much over. Actually, I think it was the third that the game was pretty much over, because I'm like 100%. It's been a couple days, but pretty sure the majority of the players were on the bench. Let's actually look at those first quarter points from. Like I said, it was a really close game in the beginning, but then after that, it was all downhill. Like, look at this joint right here. 4 for 6, 4 for 9 from JT and JB, and 26 points just in that first quarter. So when you see that, you're like, oh, schnizzle, it's about to go down. But then you look at the other numbers: Al with 0, Robbie with 0, and then the rest of the guys with, which is pretty bad. Let's look at the second. 8 from old boy JT. Let's see what we got from JB. We got 2 from JB, which isn't too great, but still, Jason Tatum was still going off, and it was still a close game at that point. Oh, and Derek White. I was wondering who the heck had the rest of them points. It was D-Dub. But yeah, Marcus Smart was not seen during this game. During this game he was really bad. Last time I actually said he probably has one of the best percentages of shooting and everything. Right after that, it pretty much went down, it looks like. But actually, somebody had it on like Twitter or Instagram or whatever the heck it was. One of the best shooting percentages is actually Al Horford, his teammate, ladies and gentlemen. And I did not know that. I need to find out where people are finding some of these good stats. Where like I'm pretty sure it's somewhere here in the NBA section, somewhere where it's about the players, stats 101. Maybe it's there. But still, let's get down to some stats, because pretty much I don't think I missed anything, because it was only like 3 quarters, and then the rest of the players got some playing time, which is needed, I guess. But yeah, George. So it was looking scary for the Warriors in the beginning, but now it's looking good. And it's like, are the Celtics going to come out and ball out? Because you already know Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are not about to just have 2 somewhat bad games in a row. I mean, well, Jaylen Brown actually had a good first game. JT had a bad first game. And then both players at the very end of the game 2 were actually pretty bad, but JT, I keep saying J. I'll just call him by Tatum and Brown, which is their last freaking name. But Tatum actually did look like he was about to mark it, since he had 21 in the first. Oh, no, 13 in the first. I'm tripping. It was 21 all around. In the first and 2 in the second. Let's actually see the third quarter, and then we'll go ahead and go to predictions, ladies and gentlemen. 7 in the third, and then JB had 2, which is bad. Bad to the bone, ladies and gentlemen. Bad to the bone as in bad, not in good. And then obviously Steph just straight up heard. Iguodala actually didn't play this game, if y'all didn't know. If you knew, I forget. Kerr said something about it during his interview. I think it was injury related. Even though he did actually play the first one, but he did. I don't remember him actually getting injured, so it's kind of confusing on what the heck happened to him. I think he was injured this whole time, so it's not 100 on his situation. So games on tomorrow. Obviously, this is recorded June. What is it? June 7th today? Yeah, 7th. Tuesday. So the game's on Wednesday. So last time I predicted that them Warriors would win the first one, Celtics would win the second one. So I was right to a certain degree. Not really. I did say one would win and one would lose. I said like it'd be a back-to-back-ish situation, and I feel like I should go ahead and go with Warriors winning 2 in a row. But I'm sure I feel like I want to backtrack and all, but I'm not. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the Celtics winning tomorrow's game, and then I'm going to go with Warriors winning game 4. And the reasons for that is just I feel like these teams just bounce back after their losses, and that's actually what's happened. So I was right on that twice, so I think I'm going to keep this going unless I see enough in game 2 or game 3 where during the live tomorrow or after the game or mid-game or something, I end up changing my mind, which, I mean, obviously these predictions, you got to live and die by these predictions. But like I said, I'm somewhat right-ish. I'm right-ish, but I'm wrong-ish. Because I even said this before I made the last predictions. I'm like, I feel like it's probably going to go the opposite of the way I'm saying it, but most people would probably have gone Warriors, Warriors, then Celtics, Celtics, which is probably the best way because you got home and home. But hey, man, you got to think outside the box sometimes and do that. That others and what others can't do, which I did, and I'm doing that again, ladies and gentlemen. This time I'm going Celtics, and then I'm going Warriors. Game 4 for the Warriors. Then we're gonna have if everything goes my way, we're going to have a tight series at Warriors again, and I'll have another video. Was it game 5? It's gonna be Monday. Game 4 is gonna be 30 on the 10th. On the 10th, ladies and gentlemen, and then 6 is on the 16th. 7 is on the 19th. So the NBA is coming to an end, or these finals are coming to an end, ladies and gentlemen. Been pretty fun. Injuries and everything obviously ruined some of this stuff. It would have been cool seeing the Clippers actually make it, but we actually got to see the Pelicans. Probably gonna do a end of the season episode where I just pretty much talk about the playoffs, but everything just goes over my head as soon as it's done anyway. So I don't know if I want to do that. It's loco, man. But that's going to be it for today. Sabotage out. As always, y'all are dismissed.